question.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about his earlier days because he was in Baltimore, then he went to LA for a couple of months. But even in Baltimore, when he first came up, we were amazed at his talent, but he was still kind of framed as a bad guy. I mean, so he's changed, right?
I think he's changed a great deal. Manny in Baltimore was a young star that got there at 20, and he had a lot of success. But the relationships between him and people within that organization got frayed. Relationships with the media were really bad. And I think by the time they got to the end of the run in Baltimore, people were glad he was going to be gone. Uh, Manny Manny played well. Team didn't play well. Team was falling apart around him. He was kind of the last man off the boat as the thing was going down because ownership let it fall apart and started to treat it like it was a small market team. And then when he indicated, I'm leaving. I'm leaving as a free agent. I'm not going to stay in Baltimore. Then the community turned on him. And yet, one hand, he's talking about the legacy of Oriole baseball and Earl Weaver and Jim Palmer and Brooks Robinson. And then on the other hand, he's talking about me, what I want. I'm going to be a free agent. I'm not going to stay here. I mean, the community really turned on him. Then he goes to Dodger Stadium. He only played 66 games with the Dodgers. It was a bold acquisition. I kind of thought the Dodgers were getting him to sign him to a long-term extension because they always make deals to get superstars. And it didn't work out. And he didn't play well for a chunk of time. And then towards the end of the season, all this junk came up about how he conducted his business in Baltimore and didn't run out ground balls and took plays off or just seemed lackadaisical. He came up with a comment that stung everybody. He says, I'm not Johnny Hustle. I'll do it when I want to do it. I'm not Johnny Hustle. And that offended so many people in Los Angeles, including everybody upstairs. And then obviously he was out the door as a free agent. There's not a lot of guys that walk out of Dodger Stadium and leave a real first-class organization. So there was a lot of baggage. And so he brought all that into the Padre clubhouse, and I looked at him and said, well, this is going to be interesting to see. Did he sign here because he wanted to be here, or did he sign here because this was the only one that offered him $30 million per year on a 10-year, $300 million contract? And his relationships didn't start out real strong. I had a rocky relationship with him early, and I was kind of offended with his attitude towards me. And why? I'm just asking baseball-related questions. I think the thing that's confusing about Manny is a game comes so easy to him. He glides. Some people may interpret that as not getting dirt on the front of your uniform. The game is easy for him to play defensively, offensively, intellectually. He's just kind of at peace. And I think maybe people inherited his style just on body language, which I tend to think is really unfair. But I think he has really evolved in a different player, and I'll tell you why when we get to the next question. But your response to the picture I just portrayed about what it was like Camden Yards, Baltimore, what it was like Dodger Stadium, and kind of what he did, what he said at the end of each of his tenures.
Well, here I am. I'm a National League West fan, right? And we don't see much of the American League at all. And the Baltimore Orioles were in the basement of the AL East. So I just heard about Machado. I saw some highlights about Machado. I hear people chirping about him, but I didn't really know much about him until he got really close to free agency and he became much more of a focal point. I think a lot of that goes to his youth, as far as, not haven't fully grown up as a man. I think other parts of it is that, Baltimore was a bad situation for him. And he knew that. And this is kind of the era of, social media, and people are out there and they speak their mind, and he didn't pull any punches. Now he comes to LA. I mean, I kind of saw that coming because I think Seager got hurt, right? So they needed a shortstop. This Johnny Hustle comment, when it first came out, on its surface, it sounds terrible. It's especially for the old school traditional baseball guys, because you're indirectly mocking Pete Rose. I mean, of all people,
when you're mocking Say and Garvey and all the other great Dodgers, are you not?
Yeah, all of them too. So, but when you kind of understand Manny, you kind of get it, because he's not going to be there's some guys that will hustle in sort of a showboat way, knowing full well they're going to be out, but they just do it just to kind of do it. And he just doesn't want to play that game. So as he has come onto the Padres, we understand him more. We kind of get it, because he does kind of go to a beat of a different drum. And to your point, the game comes so easily to him. But we know that when there are big moments, Manny will step up, not just with the glove, not just with the bat, but also with the legs. He'll step up. And if there's a routine grounder to short and he's only going at 60% up the line, I'm not too worried about that.
Okay.